Hi everyone, welcome to my FaceTime Live. I'm Dr. Sally Foote. So today I said we're going to talk about canine body language, and specifically I wanted to talk about some of the tools that I use, the handouts that I use regularly when I'm doing behavior consults and I share with my clients as well as in speaking to help recognize that canine body language of aggression and how they're escalating up to aggression. So on this FaceTime Live, I'm going to focus on a couple tools. If you want to make a comment or, post anything, go right ahead. I look forward to hearing from some of you guys. So the tools I'm going to talk about today, this one here, this is the Canine Ladder of Aggression. That was published by Dr. Kendall Shepard. She's a British veterinarian. This was published, I believe, in 2002 in the British Small Animal Veterinary Behavior Textbook. And I do have this available at my website, drsallyjfoote.com. You go under the Veterinary Professionals tab, which is over to the left, and go down to the free resources. And this is one of the free resources that I have. So you can download this. You can use this for yourself and your own pets. Dog trainers, veterinary practices can download this and share this, with your clients, because it's a really important handout, and I'm going to get to explaining it here in a minute. The second handout I'm going to talk about today is this one. Now this is the body language of fear in dogs, and this one is available at drsophiayin.com in the shop. And this is the more pictures, of what dogs look like when they're early in their fear, and this is really helpful to see what they look like, and the other one is helpful to know where they're at. So let me talk about these, handouts and how to use them, so that you can easily recognize that brewing anxiety or tension and shift over to aggression. That's really the most important thing, is like when they shift over. So this ladder of aggression, a couple things to realize about it. I know there's a few notes of my own on here, but each step, and it starts down here with yawning, blinking, and nose licking. So this is that very early, just now feeling kind of good, And we humans do the same thing. And it builds up to where actually you go up to bite. So understand that each step here is 0.2 seconds in the normal dog. And a dog who's well socialized does not have the term is reactivity, meaning reacts really fast to any kind of noise, movement, or trigger. So like, let's just say your average dog. Your average dog at any age will step between each of these steps at 0.2 seconds between each step. So when clients or staff say, oh my gosh, it's like it came out of the blue, all of a sudden he was growling and then bit. Yes, it does happen that quickly. It can go where a dog coming into, say, the examination room at a veterinary practice or the intake area at a shelter may go from just kind of looking around, licking their lips, so they're down here, to their ears going back, to now stiffening up and staring, to growl and then bite, all within 2 to 3 seconds. Yes, it can happen that quickly. So that is why it's so important for us to not only recognize these early signs that, hey, he's kind of nervous, let's make sure we take it easy with this guy, but also what is happening when you start to see the escalation. Because every step going up this ladder is all about, to the animal, what that dog sees as a potential threat. Even if we don't think it should be threatening, what's so threatening about a second veterinary assistant walking into an examination room? You haven't done anything yet, but to that dog, what that second veterinary technician means, we're going to get into the exam, and the exam is threatening. It's about their memory. So this is what are called triggers. What just happened? What just changed? Did somebody walk in? Was there movement? Was there noise? These are the triggers, and these triggers are what to the animal they think may be a threat, so that they start to rise and they show these body language signs. So a trigger, somebody walking in the room, getting the nail clippers out, that can have an animal, a dog, going from just sort of looking away to now having their ears back to then maybe growling, remember, within 2 to 3 seconds to that trigger. So recognizing these signs early and then thinking what just happened is extremely important. And then also the speed. Now, a second point I want to make is that not all dogs will show all of the signs on this chart. Why is that? Dr. Kendall Shepard she's wonderful. She's really great. Thank God you wrote this. I love this chart. She wrote this chart in general for any place a dog may be. They may be at home. They may be at the dog park. They may be at the veterinary practice. They may be at the shelter. They may be at the groomer. So it's in general where the dog may show these signs. But sometimes in some places, let's say for examination in the veterinary exam room, that's kind of my world. Most of our veterinary examination rooms or intake areas of a shelter are small. We have a room that's maybe 10 feet long by 8 feet wide before we even put in any furniture. So by the time, you had the chairs, the exam table, and that counter, you really only have about 2 feet of floor space around the table, 3 feet at the end, and 2 feet around the table. So the dog does not have the room to maybe do a whole lot of pacing or walking away. So you may see them going from just turning their head away to all of a sudden being stiff and staring. And you're like, well, he wasn't creeping, and maybe you couldn't see the ears back because the dog was under the table. But the dog was actually increasing in the anxiety, so that's why they may skip over the signs. They don't have the room to show it, or they may be cornered. They're stuck in the corner there. They're being chased to be picked up by animal control. And now because they're in that corner, they shoot right up to growling, lunging, and biting because they didn't have the room to show those signs, and the anxiety was rising so quickly in the brain, it's getting the body to act differently. So they don't have the room. The second thing is that they may have been punished, and I've seen this happen. They may have been hit, smacked, or shock collared for growling or for barking. And the anti-barking collars do reduce growling. And remember, growling is our warning light. We want dogs to growl when they're not happy because that tells us they're going to bite. And if we stop what we're doing when they're growling, then we get less bites. But why might this dog have gone from stare straight up to bite and didn't growl? It's because maybe he's been punished for it. So we as, veterinary professionals, if we can, as shelter professionals, we need to ask about, are you using any anti-barking collars? How do you usually correct them? Ask that straight up, because you may be surprised at what you're finding out, but that's important to know because that might be why a dog goes straight up to bite. Thirdly, when an animal is in pain, and pain may be at a moderate level, not necessarily 10 out of 10, where they're crying and limping and cannot function, but when they're at a lower level of pain, the adrenaline rush and changes in the stress hormones oftentimes accelerate this rise through these steps. So that stare may last 0.05 seconds, and then they're at growl and they're at bite. So maybe it was there, but it was so fast you really could barely see it, or it may be suppressed. It may be hard to move their body and walking around to show you that they're nervous because they hurt in their back. And so we have to always consider, is this animal well, or is this animal ill, or does this animal have any chronic health condition? Because that can also change a little bit everything they're showing on the list. So in short, they may not show everything on the list, but we need to watch for where are they at, or where are they going, right? How high are they going up? Now, what I always love to do is to have this list and this, I'm going to hide myself here, this picture, body language poster together. And I've got these comments coming in. I love them. Hello, Dr. Reed, Francis, and Patricia. I'm going to swipe you away. Oh, wonderful. Sorry, I'm new learning this, so I can watch what's going on. Anyway, my first technique, my top 5 low stress handling techniques, is to have these two handouts side by side. And the reason why is now I can match what they look like to how high are they on the list. So, and this is, so I'm not hiding my face. I'm going to do this way. So Dr. Yin created this poster about 10 years ago with Lily Chun, an illustrator. And honestly, the first time I saw this poster, I was like, gosh, I didn't know half of this. And that's true, because this is not a part of our standard education in the veterinary profession. And this is not standard in any dog training books. So downloading this is great to have, but this is recognizing the early fear, because if we can see this and then think, what just happened? And then the next step is, how high up are they? What is, you know, furrowed brow with ears back? A lot of times people call this the worried look. So when my dog looks worried, how upset is he really? Well, sorry. That would be right about here where we have creeping with ears back, okay? That worried look because we have the ears back, but especially right up here where you see the little dog crouch. This is cowering and major cowering. That is actually now standing crouched with the tail tucked under. You can see they're halfway up the chart. And when they're at this high, many dogs will not eat, no matter how hungry they are. This is where the adrenaline increase in the body from this rising up of stress shuts down the appetite center. Well, what do we see then? We see this picture on the body language chart. The dog you're offering a treat to, who might have been taking it 2 minutes ago, now isn't taking it. So if they're not taking it, say, wow, what just changed? Did the technician just walk in the room? Did a motorcycle just go by? That would tell you he's fearful of the loud noise of motorcycles. Okay, so hang these two together. This is my first technique in the top 5 low stress handling techniques, because it helps you to match what you see with how upset are they. Now then, from that you say, well, what just happened? And this is what we call trigger management. So trigger management means, okay, he now won't eat because the other dog walked in the room. This dog is upset about the presence of the other dog. The other dog being close is the trigger for this dog. So what do? We were going to eliminate the trigger or reduce the intensity and frequency of the trigger, and that should decrease the anxiety, and then we reward or counter condition so that we help them to become generally less upset. So let's go back to that example. I got my props here. This little dog is pretty happy. I've tossed him a few treats because I know he's nervous about the other dog, the new dog in the home, other dogs in the other room. And now this dog walks in, and now he quits eating his treat. And I notice he has that worried look on his forehead, the furrowed brow. Well, this dog, I need to get back in the other room to reduce his fear. So I may call this dog away. And when this little guy starts eating, I say, good dog. And then I may, now how I'm going to gradually train this dog to accept this dog is have this dog only come slightly close while still rewarding this one. And then also teach this dog to go away or this dog to leave. Because now I can recognize if there's 10 feet away, they're happy, but when this one's 4 feet away, they're not happy. So I'm going to maintain the 10 feet away, because that's what prevents then this new one coming 3 feet away, and this one going from now not eating and furrowed brow to now stare, growl, and then we have a dog fight at home. Remember, without knowing any of this, we would have had that little dog come in the room, and the one just quit eating sitting on his bed, and then the other one comes closer, and pretty soon you've got a growl, and you're like, what happened? Why are my dogs fighting? It's happening out of the blue, because all of that can transpire without controlling the trigger, getting the other little dog away. That can escalate within 3 to 4 seconds. Yes, it can. So aggression in dogs is something that is primarily reduced by figuring out what is getting them upset and then removing it and reducing it. And then the term is desensitization or counter conditioning, doing the training, giving them rewards around the threat far enough away that the animal will take the rewards. Now, in order to take the rewards, remember, they have to keep kind of their mind at this lower level. They're like sitting more in this level, especially down at this level, because that's when they have appetite. But what if because this dog has had other dogs bite and fight on him that he just can't get that relaxed on his own? He needs help. So this is where the medications, the supplements, the pheromones are helping them to get their keep their brain and keep their brain chemistry working at this lower level so they can take the reward, and that's how they learn. But what's important is that those medications, those pheromones, any other tools that we use are being given to the dog we're trying to help become less aggressive early. If we wait to put a product, say like the Adaptil pheromone spray, on a dog who is already up to standing with their tail crouched and their ears back, or is already up to growling, yes, the Adaptil can help them to relax and calm down, but because of there's so much increased adrenaline and increase of these other stimulatory brain chemicals, it's going to take more time for the calming effect of Adaptil to work. Those stress hormones and the excitatory brain chemicals are overriding the calming effect of the pheromone spray initially, and so it takes longer for the pheromone spray to try to catch up. And then also too, the pheromone spray may not be able to take them to this lower level where you want them to be. It may get a dog from growling to maybe just standing kind of still and looking a little scared, and he still may not eat. And it's because the Adaptil came in at a point too high. So this is why recognizing things like a dog turning their head away, kind of pacing around a little bit, or licking their lips, that's when we want to use the products like Adaptil and get it on them then, and leave them alone so it can take effect. And that's what will help to keep them down here and reduce the speed and the intensity of escalating up there. Or again, like if they need medication, pre-examination medication or pre-grooming medication or supplement or products, say, for storm fears, they need to come in 2 hours or so, 3 hours before the big event, because they need it already in their bloodstream when they're feeling, I could tell a storm is coming, or, oh, we're getting the keys to go in the car to go somewhere. Those little triggers for nervousness to help slow down rising up here. If you wait until you already have thunder going and rain going to give them their medications, say, for example, storm fears, it's not going to work as well. It can't get into the bloodstream if quick enough to then help them calm down. And they're already having this rush of the stress hormones, so that the medication can't suppress this. It can't get those brain chemicals down. It can only prevent further adding on, and so you don't get as much benefit. I would have to say this, a lot of times most people, and this includes veterinary staff and a lot of other animal professionals, we miss all this. We miss all of this. We really do. I do a lot of speaking in the community, and I remember at one of my, I call them the pregnant parent class. It's the, people who are expecting a baby, and, they're, I talk about pet child safety. And this is one of the handouts for the dogs that I have, so that they can see when a dog is nervous. So now we get the dog away from the children, or we get the children away from the dog. Really pretty simple. And what's your first thought for managing the trigger? And I've had a lot of people say, well, that's what my dog looks like all the time. What's the problem with that? Well, then your dog is chronically anxious. There's a lot of things your dog is nervous about, but you just didn't realize, because you didn't realize a dog walking slowly in a room means they're being very cautious. Why are they cautious? Because they're nervous about something. It could be other people in the room. It could be an animal like a dog in the room. It could be an object in the room that's new and they're not used to yet. But anyway, that walking slowly in the room means they're nervous. That licking their lips or panting all the time, even when it's not hot out, like especially in the fall and the winter, can be a sign of anxiety in the dog, especially the worried look. People will say, oh, he looks sad. Well, he's really actually more scared than sad, but now think, well, what's making him sad? Let's get him away from it, or get it away from him. I will be presenting, I have a seminar day, June the 7th, and I will be having a live presentation following the limits provided here in Illinois for how many people can gather with safe distancing and masks and everything. I'm going to be doing a full day seminar on anxious and aggressive dog and cat handling, hospitalization and care. And I will include, and it's for veterinarians, veterinary technicians, shelter care workers. And it will be worth 7 hours of race approved continuing education, and that also includes I will be live streaming this. So the live streaming, anybody can take anywhere in the country, and it will be the live day. So this way, it's just about as good as being here in Tuscola. I'm actually sitting in this Bella Behavior Learning Center. This used to be a daycare, and we have this gorgeous mural that I'm not repainting in the background. For those of you live streaming, I will screen share the PowerPoints, which will include video demonstration of handling and of correct handling, correct approaching, and the really essential skills, which the top one is clearly reading body language, especially when it's subtle, and recognizing the triggers that this dog is aggressing towards, so that you can remove and reduce and control those triggers for safety. That's what we're going to be covering. I will also have some additional topics, such as using telehealth, telemedicine consults, and more. And I also will be including live demonstration. So those of you who are live streaming can watch me kind of like this on TV, showing actually how we can do some of the handling, how we do safe loading and, getting dogs into crates and cats in and out of cages, and, use of safety tools as well. And we use those safety tools, things like muzzles, Elizabethan collars, pillowcases, handling gloves, and even rabies snare, how these can be used in ways that is less stressful to the animal, but does provide safety for us, because these are animals who have learned to bite to prevent what they feel may be harmful to them coming to them, which means sometimes a veterinary exam or travel. My 20 minutes is about up here. If you guys want to comment, I really appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who has come here to this live. I'm going to be doing this every Wednesday, and so if you have any topics you would like me to cover, any questions you'd like me to answer, I can make some of these Ask Dr. Foot, and I'm happy to answer those for you too. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have over 80, I think, videos there on pet behavior, pet training, veterinary low stress handling. I also have a newsletter. You can sign up for it on my Facebook page, where that's how I make announcements about some of my speaking and events, and I also share some of the videos and blog posts and that, and that. So, and on my website. Sorry, I was going to talk about my website. So my website is drsallyjfoot.com. And at the website, I have 3 sections. One is more for the veterinary professional, where I have handouts such as, this is a free download on that page, please go to it, videos. I also have a lot of my speaking events posted there, and then also for the pet professional, the dog trainer, the groomer, and then the third tab for the pet owner, where I've kind of curated some of the articles and handouts and things for the pet owner. And then lastly, I have my shop, and in my shop, that's where I have a number of on-demand continuing education, race-approved continuing education courses for the veterinary professional. And then I also have, and they're also approved for CCPDT and IAABC. And then I also have, videos and courses for the pet owner to take to help them with pet behavior. I currently have one I've recently published called the Housebound Puppy Socialization Course. And that one is great for if you have a puppy now during this COVID-19 crisis, where puppy classes and dog training classes have been canceled. It's actually over 40 videos with a veterinary student, Jamie Oakes, and Reggie, her dog, who we are doing how we're tossing rewards to Reggie around people wearing masks and gloves, and ways to get Reggie out and about to, parking lots and things, so he gets socialized to the world, and we do it safely at the 6-foot distancing and so on. I also have other courses, including a 2-hour aggressive dog handling on-demand race-approved course that includes a year of support from myself to the veterinary or shelter staff professionals as well. So thank you very much. I look forward to doing this again next week, and take care, and everybody stay well.